Hello YouTube, it's Bob Reese. Today is the 4th of July, the anniversary of the day that we declared independence from Great Britain. The beginning of 3 years of battle and heartbreak, but ultimately we triumphed. Hopefully we have much more ahead of us. Today I'm going to also talk about a different kind of freedom. A freedom from worrying about power outages, something that we've been talking about for some time now. This is an uninterrupted power supply, and it is installed underneath my fish tank. So let's talk about that some. Okay, so here is my Cyberpower CP750 LCD battery backup system, a UPS, an uninterrupted power supply. This has 420 watts. It has an estimated runtime with, minimal draw on it of an hour. But that varies depending on what we put in it. Right on the top of the box, it talks about that right there. All-in-one computer an hour, desktop computer with LCD 27 minutes. Alright, and you can read that. Okay. So what it has is this. We have 4 surge protected and battery backed up outlets on one side, and on the other side we have 4 surge protected outlets. If you are looking into one of these for computer and home use for other applications, has communications outlets on here. I think it has a USB, that's a USB input on here. Sorry, it's not wanting to focus. I'll show you the cables for that later. Okay. There's a monitor right here on the front for LCD. Okay, it has the power button. And that, I believe, on the top is the reset button, this red right here. And that's what we have. Alright, it's not plugged in, obviously. I'll show you that when we get back to the video. The LCD monitor, let's talk about that for a minute. It has an input voltage meter, has an output voltage meter, estimated runtime, the normal icon, which I would expect is probably something like that. Okay, the normal icon. The battery icon. There are alarms associated with the battery icon, which I have to read again. But during a prolonged brownout or blackout, the alarm will sound continuously. If you start to get low on battery power, I believe it has an alarm also. Has an overload icon. Has a battery capacity meter and a load capacity meter. So there we have it. I didn't want to do the whole unboxing because you guys don't care if I pull this out of the box right in front of your face. It came in one piece. It came like stuff comes in a box. So there you go. So in a minute we'll get back to what it looks like. Everything plugged in. I'm going to run minimal stuff on the battery side. I haven't figured it out, but it'll probably be something like air pump for the sponge filter and heater. I think that's all we're going to do, because during a power outage I need to save as much power as I can for this, and that's all I really need to keep the tank running. So some agitation for the water via the sponge filter, keeping my water at the proper temperature via the heater, and that's it. I think we're going to be good to go. Alright, back to the video. Okay, here we are underneath the tank stand. You can see the two filters there, the Cascade 1000s. Alright, and in the middle here is our uninterrupted power supply. On the left, I obviously marked my wires so I know what's what. On the left there are the surge protected and battery powered outlets. So in those I have the heater and the air pump for the sponge filter. Everything else, with the exception of the lights, is on just the surge protected side on the right, and the lights are in the regular outlet. While we were in here, the monitor, the LCD monitor, turned off, so we'll turn it back on. Let's see what it says. You can't read it all that well. It says that my output is 119 volts. Also, right now it's charging the batteries. I don't recall how long it's going to take, 8 hours or so, before this thing's going to be ready and bomb-proof. But there we go. You get to see the underside of my tank and the tank stand, cleaning supplies, etc. I have not done the Ben Oakart put a light under their thing yet, but I'm gonna, because that's a brilliant idea. Only downfall I can see at this point is when I do water changes, I would normally just flip a switch on a power strip and turn everything off that way. Now I can't do that because I've got the battery power backup, so I'm going to have to literally unplug the components I want unplugged, i.e. the filters and the heater. But small price to pay for some confidence in my system. Alright, back to it. So the point of this whole discussion tonight is this ongoing internal discussion I've had with myself about how do I deal with a power failure, right? And if you've been watching the videos, I've had discussions with Adam C. about this, and he's got some battery-powered backup air pumps, and you need to watch his videos on that because they're good. And while I was talking about that, a guy named James King popped into my timeline and had a discussion with me about it. And what he was talking about was getting a UPS, an uninterrupted power supply. So me being an older guy, I'm thinking generator. And to some of you, most of you probably, that means what I'm talking about. It's basically a power pack like you would have for your car, like a jumper box, except it's not jumper cables, it's for a computer, TV, game system, whatever. And what James suggested that I do, that he has done, is to put it in and incorporate it into his fish tanks so that we can have peace of mind when and if there are power failures. And I've had a beer or two, so if some of my words don't come out correct, please forgive me. It is the 4th of July. And so that's what I've done, and that's what I've showed you. And what it has done is given me peace of mind. Now, what the machine tells me, based upon what I've got plugged into it, and basically on one side, as you all know from watching the video, is battery backed up outlets. There's 4 of them. The other side is just basically a surge protector. 4 of those. All I have plugged into this thing is an air pump that's driving that sponge filter out there and my heater. And that's it. And I think that's all I need to keep my system running, to keep my fish alive at a bare minimum in time of need. Pardon the clock. So it says to me, hey, you've got 150 minutes, if I'm reading it right, of time using the batteries in this thing to keep your fish in comfort. Now, we'll give it a little bit more time beyond that. So let's say, I think I can reasonably expect 8 hours before things start to get nasty. I've got battery backup air pumps if I need to do that. So now I'm pretty much done talking about this subject. I'm happy with what I have. I will try to put a link below to the system that I am using. I'm not pushing anybody to do anything. Do whatever you want to. But the last thing I want in a prolonged power outage is a tank full of dead fish, because you guys know better than I do, there's a few dollars in this tank right now, and I don't need it all floating at the top. So, I hope everybody has a wonderful 4th of July. Oh, by the way, I added another fish in here, an Angara flametail, which he doesn't seem to be sticking out right now. He's very dark. He's on the right-hand side intake. Now he's just going up behind the bubbler up there. He's very dark. He's hard to see, and he's very small. I hope he turns out to be, all I hope him to be. I don't know what else to say. That's my update. Everybody in the tank is doing wonderfully. What can I say? There it is. They're just awesome fish. I have no complaints. I've got nothing else to cry about. I'm living a pretty good life in the fish world right now. So I'm going to go off and drink a Belgium Budweiser here in the city of St. Louis, which is kind of depressing to think about. And I'm going to enjoy the rest of my night. And I hope you guys too. Enjoy your fireworks. Stay safe. Peace.